Hi, my name is Ruben Malloy, and today I will be talking about Greek mythology and why it still matters today. Imagine a world. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, I didn't put it on the slideshow. Crap. Okay, let's redo that. Okay. Okay. Hi, Miss James. I know as of right now you can see me, but when I do my presentation, the camera will switch off, and I don't actually know why. I have been trying to fix it, and I've had no luck whatsoever. I've tried it on multiple different like on my phone, my iPad, my laptop, and for all of them, it keeps doing it. And I'm really sorry if that does bother you. If it does, please let me know, and I will refilm it, and I will find some other way to film it, and to include the video of me presenting my speech. But as of right now, this is my only resource I have to do so. So, okay, bye. Okay. So, hi, my name is Ruby Malloy, and today I am talking about Greek mythology and why it still matters today. Imagine a world where gods live in mountain tops, heroes battle monsters, and every river, storm, star, and storm has a story. This world might sound ancient, but in many ways, we're still living in it. Whether we realize it or not, Greek mythology continues to shape the way we think, speak, and even understand ourselves. From Nike sneakers to movies like Percy Jackson and Wonder Woman, the echoes of Greece's ancient myths are everywhere. Today, I want to show you why Greek mythology still matters and how it continues to influence our modern culture, language, and psychology. First of all, I'd like to explain what actually is a Greek mythology. And this is stories from ancient Greece that explain nature, human behavior, and the divine. The central figures that are mainly included within these stories are Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, Hades, and many more. And the themes that often occur during these stories are love, pride, fate, and revenge. So let's start with culture, the stories, symbols, and art that define who we are. Great myths are some of humanity's to explain the world. They answer the big questions like why does the sun rise, why do we suffer, and what happens after death. These myths give people meaning long before science or philosophy could. But their cultural roots didn't just end in ancient Greece. It's been passed down through centuries of art, literature, and media. In modern times, Greek mythology fuels films, video games, and even space exploration. NASA has named missions after mythological figures like Apollo, Artemis, and Orion. Each name carries a symbolic connection to qualities deeply rooted within these ancient stories. In visual art, the impact is just as strong. Painters of the Renaissance, like Botticelli, used mythological subjects to explore human beauty and emotion. His painting, The Birth of Venus, was inspired by the goddess of love and is still one of the world's most famous images. Literature writers from Shakespeare to J.K. Rowling have drawn on Greek mythology. Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida retells the story of the Trojan War, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein echoes the myth of Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods and paid the price. Even today, the Percy Jackson series reimagines Greek gods living in modern America and it's inspired millions of young readers to explore mythology. So whether it's on page, on canvas, or in the stars, Greek mythology continues to give our culture its language of imagination. Now let's talk about something that we use every day, language. Even if you've never studied mythology, you probably use words and expressions that come straight from it. When someone has a Midas touch, it means that they can turn anything into success, a reference to King Midas who literally turned everything into gold. When someone says open Pandora's box, we mean they've unleashed trouble, just like Pandora did when her curiosity led her to open the forbidden jar. And if you've ever faced an Achilles heel, you're referring to the hero Achilles, whose only weakness was his heel. Even the term narcissism comes from Narcissus, the young man who fell in love with his own reflection, which brings the These myths live in our expressions, metaphors, and brand names. Think about it. Nike, the goddess of victory, lends her name to one of the biggest athletic brands in the world. Amazon, named after the first driver warrior women, symbolizes strength and independence. Greek myths aren't just about gods and monsters, they're about people. They explore jealousy, pride, love, grief, ambition, and fear. The same emotions we deal with day to day. That's why psychologists, especially Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, found them so valuable. Freud used Greek myths to explain universal behaviors. His famous Oedipus complex, for instance, was named after Oedipus, the tragic hero who unknowingly fulfilled a prophecy by killing his father and marrying his mother. Freud used that story as a metaphor for complex family dynamics and unconscious desires. Carl Jung went even further. He believed that mythological figures represent archetypes, universal patterns of behavior that appears in every culture's stories. The hero, the mentor, the shadow. We see them not only in Greek myths, but also in movies, books, and even our own dreams. When you think of Harry Potter, you're seeing the hero's journey, the same pattern that defined Hercules, Perseus, and Odysseus. These archetypes help us understand human motivation and the search of meaning. In short, Greek mythology became one of the earliest mirrors of the human mind, and that mirror still helps psychologists, writers, and thinkers explore what makes us human. So why it still matters. In a world of smartphones and artificial intelligence, should we still care about stories written nearly 3,000 years ago? Why? Because myths never really die. They evolve. They're part of our cultural DNA. First, they teach us about ourselves. When we read about Icarus flying too close to the sun, we see the danger of overconfidence. When we hear about Pandora's curiosity, we recognize our own human need to seek knowledge. Even when it's risky, these lessons are timeless. Second, they connect us to the past. Myths are the bridge between ancient and modern minds. When we study them, we're not just learning about Greece, we're learning about humanity's first attempts to make sense of life. And in third, they fuel creativity. Artists, filmmakers, and writers continue to reinterpret these stories because they offer endless possibilities. Every generation finds something new in them, a new angle, a new meaning, a new reflection of modern struggles. Even science and technology borrow from the myth. Artificial intelligence, for instance, often reflects the myth of Prometheus, the human desire to create something powerful, even at a great risk. Myths remind us that every innovation comes with responsibility. Here, I just more pointed out the modern parallels of war. So the next time you slip on your neck to read about Apollo missions, or describe your Achilles heel, remember, you're speaking the language of the ancient Greeks. Their myths may have begun as stories told around a fire, but they become the foundation of how we describe power, love, ambition, and identity. They remind us that though centuries separate us from the people of ancient Greece, we share the same fears, hopes, and dreams. Greek mythology still matters because it's not just about gods or heroes, it's about us. It's about the stories we tell to understand who we are and who we might become. Thank you.